one of the best restaurants in town hit me up for some plinths for their weddings and cake stands and things like that. So I decided to attempt the viral twisted table that Shara from Woodshop Diaries did not a while ago. I'll save you most of the milling and we'll get straight into the good stuff. So I borrowed a track saw from a mate to try and get these 45s done for the miters. It was a bit of a difficult cut. Tried to follow this same way that Shara described on her videos. And this is where I started to get a bit confused as I couldn't see where things were going to line up. And I probably should have watched the videos through a couple more times. But I decided to just throw it all at the wall and see what happens. So you can see this gap here. Wasn't really sure how that was supposed to line up. So I just matched it up as best I could and then decided that I'll cut off the ends later. So bit of a glue up and use these 3D printed angle brackets. Threw a few clamps at it and we'll see how we go. I thought these 3D printed clamp guides were going to be really good and hold everything at 90, but I think they may not have been big enough and maybe the miters weren't perfect enough. I was unhappy with how everything fit together with the normal glue, with the Type On 3. The gaps were still a bit too large and I just couldn't get everything tight enough. So I decided to go Techniglue on the second panel. This, with the gap filling properties, would make it stronger, as everything would stay solid then. Use some miter clamps as well, you can see in there. Now here you can see the first complication. I'm getting a bit confused because this isn't matching up to the fence like my last one did. So I was a bit confused. It needs to be on the other side of the table. So I was a bit confused as to what I've done there. So I've glued it up the opposite way. I've got the two legs with the miters running down the opposite diagonal. Now I did manage to cut that square, but forgot to press record on the camera. So you just have to trust me on that one. And now we can see it come together on the stand. So the first one goes there. We chuck the second one on, the second leg, and yep. That's where I've realized the first mistake. So that's annoying because I didn't cut the same diagonal. The miters on the same diagonal. The two legs would actually hit each other. So that was a silly misstep from me. So let's get to gluing up some more panels and do it all again. All right, we were setting up this shot of the new leg that I glued together, ready for a trim, and someone's decided to make themselves comfy down there. Hey, now I'm going to have to annoy you and kick you out of the way. All right, we've got all the pieces now. Cut to the correct directions, so they mirror. Not mirror, they actually completely match, as we can see here. Let's see if this is actually going to work. Alright, so this is what I'm thinking. This is probably going to be the easiest way to put it together and not have anything slip around.
Jesus Christ, I'm nervous. So much effort. See, already that feels way off. Like that should be floating above here. So they've gone skew with. Alright, so I can't. Yeah, see, as soon as I move that. Alright, so I've got that bit there, but now look how far out this bottom one is. But that's the only way to get that flush, which means this one is not flush. So the directions that I followed off YouTube didn't quite fit. I think I'm going to have to break out a laser level and find out another way to do this. Alright. It's been a few months. We're back into it. What I've decided is we're going to make some forms out of the MDF. Keep those 90s at 90. And then hopefully we should get a much better glue up. So we've got the rest of it already cut up. So let's cut this up and get those forms made. All right, so got a good 90 on these. Still skewed a bit, but much better than it was. That one's perfect. The next part, as it needs to, this bit here needs to be vertical. So we need to get a flat on there according to that. So 90 degrees off there, that way. Now I could run it through table saw that way, but there is that lip that's raising off that 90. So I'm thinking draw a 90 degree off there, we can get that angle according and rotate the table saw, if that made any sense for talking too quickly. Alright, so I've got 90 there, which means that's our angle that the table saw needs to be at here. Alright, we've got 74. Right, so if we tilt the blade to 74, that means we could cut it that way. Is that correct? Because, alright, so it's this bit here, so we need the flat to be along that way, which means table saw is tilted that way. The table saw does tilt that way, which means this bit needs to rest up against the fence. So we've got the 90 and the tilt there. Do it with my nice new Incremitis miter bar instead of the sled. All right, so we're together, but one, we're not level. That's a freehand cut. Now, there's some issues here. This needs to be vertical. So tackling this bit should be hitting this corner. So I need to trim it to there on both. I think that's going to stop a lot of this, little bits of overhang, and a lot of those little issues. So let's get rid of those first and see how we come together. All right, so here we are a couple months later again. I was naughty and screwed it together off camera, but this is what we're sitting at the moment. Not happy with the lateral movement. So you got quite a bit this way, but it does only have small screws in it. So we're going to run through some big screws from the top and bottom. So I think we'll maybe run some 75s or 80s, just try and grab as much of that timber in as possible, and run some more Technic glue. So we'll get that epoxy and just stiffen all that right up. After that, we've still got this one here. So let me grab you. So I've got that overlap there. Well, not overlap, it's that bit's come short. And that's happened on all of the corners. So given this is just going to be iteration number 2, 1 didn't work, 2, this will be decent, 3 is going to be better, and then we'll see. I've got plans for the 4th already. But yeah, we're going to plane down to that corner just so it looks nice. It's not going to be square. It's not square at the moment anyway, which you can see when I put it down. So another problem here, I think it's because we have this gap. The next one, I don't think there should be a gap there, and that's actually going to make the lateral movement really solid. Let me just lie it down and I'll show you what I mean by not square. So we can see there, this end square, we're quite a few mil off. So I'm actually not 100% sure where that was introduced from because of the way I clamped it up. This should be perfectly square. This one should be perfect. Everything should be square. So yeah, that's why iteration number 3, we're going to do completely different. But as for proof of concept, number 2 is looking pretty good. So let's get those support screws in and the glue. And then we'll probably just run some dowel over the top just to make it look some sort of decent. And we go from there. All right, I literally set up and have not touched it. So let's have a look. How did that lateral? Oh, that's, look at that. There's nothing in that. So it's just not level. Beautiful. All right, so we'll go start shaping these down. Yeah, we'll shape these down. I'm going to recess some cutting board feet or something. I've got the printer on some TPU at the moment. Print out some cool feet or easy feet, whatever. Plane this down. Sand it up. And let's see what we got, hey? All right, so we're just putting on the last coat, wiping on the Fiddy's hard wax in a satin. So I'll roll on 2 coats, denib between each one, and then the last one I like to just rub it on, so it keeps that really smooth finish.
Overall, this thing is sick. I love it. It's so cool. Yeah, happy, but far from perfect. So going forward, this is version 1. So we're going to be trying it again. So the main thing I'm not happy with, like you saw when I did these, it's not square. It's not even close to square. Not that you'll notice when it's standing alone, but if you put it anywhere near a wall, that's going to be super obvious, but accentuated with those sides, accentuated that so it should almost look like it's supposed to be like that. So that shouldn't be a defined problem, you know. I might not like it, but everyone else might not care. So for me, proof of concept. It's solid. It's sick. It's going to look really cool. And it also gives me the challenge of going again. So version 2, we're going to concentrate on getting that base square. And it's going to involve these two actually need to meet. So there's going to be some extra cutting in there. And then I think we might even go for a version 3 in just cleaning everything up to be perfect so that I'm super happy with it. I'm really not sure what else to say. Like, I know what I need to do better on, but I'm still happy. So it's a pretty good spot to be in. So I'll finish this up, give you some beauty shots, but also the next one's going to be really cool. Like, check this out. Of course, yeah. Got a new friend here. 15-inch planer. Just spent the last few weeks, well, last week, fixing everything up. So we've got new blades in it. Everything's running smoothly. Had to get new circuit run. What else have we got? Yeah, just got rid of all the rust and everything. Printed out some really cool tools for it. So we get to see that soon. You want to say hello?